You're watching West Wednesday 616, Justice for Tyrone West and Justice for All Victims of Police Brutality. Tawanda.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Yes.
Mic check.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in. And as usual, we're going to play the video that we always start you guys off with, and we'll just take it from there. Mic check.
Can't stop, won't stop, till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No,
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly, picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I said, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my driver?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the driver?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it.
The profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Do me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record me. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I want to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we're getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings,
and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses. The N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 and 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Check.
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Rachel, for hosting as always, and thank you, Hillary and all of the West Coalition, Kalia and everybody else. So I just wanted to kind of dive into the conversation. And tonight we don't have any special guests. And I elected to do that for a reason that right now I'm dealing with so much stress. So just keep my family in prayers. I'm not at liberty to like go into details, but we finally got our day in court. So I'm just asking for prayers, positive thoughts as we, come to the closing of trying to seek accountability. So I will just say that much. But just looking at that video that I watch and I study every time we're online, it really breaks my heart that there's no accountability. Like there is no accountability, and it's sad. And for me, literally, to hear Darrell literally assaulted, 24 hours before my brother, literally, and then I think about Abdul Salam, literally 2 weeks before my brother. In that same neighborhood. This is not like these are isolated incidents. It's sad and it's heartbreaking. And then to think of this was going on when my brother was murdered in 2013, and here we are in 2025, and we still don't have any type of accountability. Nobody's doing nothing. And every time we have something in place that's supposed to protect civilians, right, it just get watered down. It just get watered down and have no teeth, no powers to do anything. And it's so devastating and it's so heartbreaking. And like I said, I'm just tired of just having this heavy heart of pulling and wearing the world on my shoulders. Like, it is so sad. But at the same time, all of this sadness does bring out strength in me. Sometimes I be amazed at the strength that it brings out in me. Because when you're determined to stand on truth and when you're determined to have accountabilities, that determination will literally make it seem like you will walk to the end of the earth with steel boots on. And that's how I feel. I always stand on integrity, truth, and power. And the power is our voices. Like, we're not coming up here with weapons. We're not a gang. We're just average people trying to get accountability. And tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about the Civilian Review Board, because I think about the Civilian Review Board when my brother Tyrone West was murdered. It had no teeth whatsoever. And then I noticed after he was murdered, and then started doing my research on things, and then meeting people, because this is a club that nobody signs up for. And then unfortunately, when you're recruited and you don't have the option to opt out, and it's just like you get that call, you get that knock, and unfortunately we didn't get a call, we didn't get a knock. But had it not been, in my case, for the grace of God, me and my brother had that type of relationship. Whereas though I knew something wasn't right, and I hit up Lottie Dottie and everybody in my family, and I kept on saying, something's going on with my big brother, something's not right. And then finally, after everything was said and done, it was all over with, and everybody was like, wow, Tawanda called this. But my whole point of saying this, I'm just looking back, at a whole decade of fighting for accountability. And not being able to speak it, not being respected while we get it, and just watching things transpire right in your face. Because I can attest to and say that I have never, since my brother been murdered, I have never missed a beat. I have never stepped away from this fight. And I don't fault anyone, because it gets overwhelming. So if you do step away, it's okay to step away. But as for me, I'm speaking for me. I have never stepped away, never wavered, never missed a beat. And to be treated as such, it is very disappointing. I could see if I didn't try to file papers. I was like hitting up Lottie Dottie and everybody. And then it seemed like nobody was doing nothing, which they wasn't. But then looking at the Civilian Review Board, that's when I remember that it was, led by Jill, our beautiful senator at the time. But she was in it, she was doing live. She always, catch retaliation when she does something. And it's not even just her. It's people that want real change. And every time they want real change and want to really be there for us, it's not like, oh, I'm in it for a couple dollars, I'm in it for a side deal. They be in it with their heart, and then literally, as soon as you do that, then here comes the retaliation. Here comes people moving you, demoting you, doing all type of stuff. And I can live and attest to that. All the stuff that I've been through. But again, I stand here today and say I have never wavered. Yes, I've cried. Yes, many times I have felt defeated. But I've never despite how I felt, because I know that was an emotion, I still never wavered. I never walked away, even in the roughest moments where I felt like, oh my God, like this ain't doing nothing, like this. But it's almost like being broken. Just imagine yourself, right? You're being broke down in a desert. It's hot as hell. You're in there, you're trying to start your car up. You keep cranking that engine and it just won't crank. You even get out and you by yourself, you're trying to actually push and put it in neutral, and then nothing will help. And then as you're doing this, then now here comes people to help you. You're like, yes, but y'all still can't get that car to move. Then everybody's trying to see that this car is not moving, and they're trying to work. And then you want to give up so bad, but you can't, because you're like, my life depends on it. Not only my life, everybody's life depends on this right now. And when I say everybody, I'm just giving that scenario about being stuck in a hot desert. And so the people that are trying to help me, their life depends on it, because now it ain't a me thing, it's a we thing. Because if we don't get out here, then we all we're gonna all be affected by this. And with that being said, I use that incident or example as saying that if we don't do nothing to change what is happening, it's going to affect, and it is affecting us. As you can see right now, and I don't know if you guys know, but this week, another young person was killed by police on York Road, a 26-year-old. I don't have any details about it, don't know anything, but I do know this. It does not take you to murder anyone. And the first thing they always say, and let's be clear, be your own conscious consumer. Do your research, right? And I'm trying to do my research as best as I can about the case, but I got so much going on in my life right now. I don't even have time to do the research. I'm sorry, I just don't. But my whole point is, what they always do is, in the victim's case, they demonize the victims. They play it out as if they got what was coming for them, that they deserve the outcome. They'll even make up lies. They'll even say, oh, well, the person shot it at the lunch at the police. The officers were always in fear. That's always the name of the game. The officers fear for their life, and this, because they fear for their life, they get to do the ultimate thing, and that's take a life. But meanwhile, firefighters, they fear for their life every time they go into a fire. They don't know if they're going to make it out. And I use that example because it's real. They are the real heroes. Going into a house burning down to save a family, nan time could they take and say, you know what? I'm going to sit on this curb. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here, twiddle my toes. And when my, supervisors, colleagues come and say, well, what you doing? And I just twiddle my thumbs and I say, oh, you know what? I ain't going in there. As soon as I stepped on, to the scene, I saw the floors cave in and I feared for my life. What do you think would happen to those firefighters? They will be fired, might even be charged on the spot. But why is it that these killer cops can just say, I fear for my life and get away with it? But meanwhile, they fear what they want to fear. But we see in many cases when it's a white suspect, when it's a Caucasian suspect, it's always a different outcome. It's always a different outcome. They'll take the protocol to make sure that they, try to talk them out of doing stuff. All that. I think David Liptica, if I'm saying his last name correct, but I know his first name is David. And he was in the county. And he shot an officer, a sergeant in the face. He took the police car. He did all that. They shut this county down. And all this foolishness. And he got his day in court. Like, they ain't put a scratch on him, none of that. So if they want to refer and say, oh, this 26-year-old, he stopped and he was shooting at the police, why couldn't he get the David treatment? But my whole point is, so if we had, just imagine if we had civil review board that would pretty much consist of citizens, the average people like me and you that can have powers to settle these civilian review board cases and have power to prosecute these killer cops, right? So tonight, that's what I want to talk about. I'm going to hand it over to Hillary. And I told you I met a fella and he was amazing. And I done sat on panel discussions with him in the past before I reconnected with him at Judah's event. So no further ado, I'm going to let Hillary, because Hillary is amazing, and she started something that we all need to partake in, and we want to get like real accountability and give this civilian review board power. We need to give the civilian review board power and teeth. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Hillary. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Hi, everybody. This is Hillary. And actually, I'm noticing, at least on the Facebook chat, that Judah already posted the link to a petition that I started. Although I think Rachel's going to put it on to the whole chat so that everybody can see it. So I spoke a couple of weeks ago about going to Rise Baltimore and then to a town hall meeting where a bunch of folks from the Office of Equity and Civil Rights spoke about the current issue with the Civilian Review Board. And following that, I did some more investigating and talking to some of those folks outside of the meeting and put together a petition so that we can demand that our city council and mayor take a look at the issue with the Civilian Review Board. The Civilian Review Board has been in effect for quite a while, but it was in effect when our police department was administered by the state. Apparently, what happened when we voted and switched over control to local control is that at that point, the Civilian Review Board's operations were put in question because they were connected to the state oversight. So they've been told that they're going to be what's called sunsetted, which means phased out. The big problem with that is the Civilian Review Board is the only body currently within the Baltimore City Office of Equity and Civil Rights that's empowered to subpoena and complete independent investigations on misconduct complaints and by citizens involving harassment, false imprisonment, excessive force, and abusive language by police officers. There are other entities in the Office of Civil Rights that do reviewing cases and things like that, but they get all of their information from internal affairs and from the police. And we all know that police can't police themselves. Now, the Civilian Review Board and these other boards within that office deal with the issues around personnel and reviewing officers' behavior. They don't prosecute cases like from the state's attorney's office. They do investigations and they make recommendations regarding what consequences should happen in terms of their employment and that kind of stuff to the police department. So, and certainly if they come up with a lot of information, you would think that our attorney, a state's attorney, and other people would be interested in that. There are a lot of different ways that folks can go about trying to find accountability. This is just one of them, but we don't want to lose the independent investigatory powers there. So this petition speaks specifically to the Civilian Review Board and the Office of Equity and Civil Rights. And so because they're facing termination of the CRB, if they don't transfer those powers to another entity, there are no checks and balances to make sure that people reviewing these cases have all the information necessary, because we know there's a history of not getting that information. We also know that, a lot of times the independent investigatory powers have been kind of a point of contention. People who want to abuse their powers don't want civilians to take a look at what's going on. I got some data that indicated that following the consent decree, the CRB conducted more than 1,400 independent investigations. It's really important that we be able to continue to do that and have more teeth with it. There are some recommendations that I've gotten about what should happen with the CRB or what possibly could happen with the CRB. And I outline those in the petition, and you can click on the link that's in the chat here. And I will be sending out links consistently, and I will be sending them to folks who are on the West Wednesday email list as well. So there are three possible things that the mayor and the city council could potentially do about this. It seems like folks weren't really aware, and there was no discussion really about that we could lose these powers. So either someone dropped the ball or they chose not to look at it during the elections and all of that. But regardless, there are three potential things that could happen. One is they could enact an amendment to the ordinance. The city council could amend the ordinance that sunsets the CRB and allow them to extend their authority to accept new cases, conduct investigations, and that kind of thing until such a time as those investigatory and subpoena powers are officially passed on to another entity. They could also, and this is actually nationally considered best practice, they could establish an independent quasi-office of police oversight and accountability. The Baltimore City Council could sponsor emergency legislation to create an independent office for police oversight, which would operate autonomously from local government, which might not be a bad idea, using investigatory and subpoena power to process cases and ensuring unbiased oversight. The other thing they could do is empower the Police Accountability Board, which is another one of those entities under the Office of Equity and Civil Rights. They could empower that group through a city council ordinance to be authorized to appoint its own independent investigators and hire independent counsel with subpoena power, enabling the investigations and the folks within that office to conduct thorough and proper investigations of police misconduct. So there are different ways to do it. At this point, we have 39 folks who have signed the petition, but I would like to see hundreds because the more that are on there, the more power we have to influence the folks we elect into office. If they know their constituents are really, really behind this, they are more likely to make something happen. Will this fix up everything? Absolutely not. But it does a couple of things. One is it retains some power within the Office of Civil Rights to do things independently, which I think is important. But it also signals to our elected officials that we are watching, that we are concerned, and that we want to make sure that police are held accountable for their behaviors. This is also important because if anyone here has seen more recently, there was an executive order by the current administration talking about supporting police officers and having less accountability for their behaviors. And so we're likely to get pressure from outside. And if within Baltimore City, the city we all love, we can make this safer, that will be important. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Please, please, I know a lot of you watching have already signed and have shared this. Again, I will be sending out an email to our email list with the connection to it today, later. And just, please put the word out there. So mic check. Thank you.
Mic check.
Yeah, so thank you, Hillary, for sharing that. And that's real important. So if you guys could just share, that would be greatly, truly appreciated. So definitely share and sign. And we definitely appreciate you guys. So I wanted to check in real quick to see if we have any questions or comments. Mic check.
Mic check. Yes, so far we have mic check from Judah, sending you love, Tawanda. Mic check from me, Kalia. Mic check from Bruce. And mic check from Mainism. And just like was said earlier, Judah included the link to the petition. We also shared it again for everyone to have access to it. And we also gave a thank you to Judah for earlier sharing it. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. We definitely appreciate it. And thank you guys for the comments. Mic check. And hey, Bruce, thank you guys so much. So I wanted to see if anybody else wanted to dive into the conversation that's here in queue and want to add their comments about what Hillary said. Mic check.
Mic check.
All right. So, but again, stuff like that is real important because if we don't do what we can do as human beings, we see a pattern where this stuff is going to constantly keep on happening over and over again. We got to do something. If we stand by and we do absolutely nothing, then, how can we complain and say, anything? We just sitting by like frogs in the pot, adjusting to the temperature, so we should just continue on, supporting each other. And that's by doing whatever we can humanly possible to make sure that someone isn't abused without any type of accountability, and I just want to give a big shout out to Hillary for actually putting together that petition and things like that. That's very important. So I'm just glad that we have that in the place. And yeah, it's definitely a lot going on. And like I said, it broke my heart when I heard that somebody else was killed by the police. It's just like, wow. It's just like anytime I hear about somebody being killed, period, it's devastating and heartbreaking, And yeah, it's a lot to process. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And also, I'm excited. I'm real excited, and a big shout out to Kalia for putting together this beautiful, amazing flyer. And I'm going to be sharing it today on my page. And all I ask that you guys share it, and share it again. We have a special West Wednesday next week on May the 21st. So mark your calendars. We will be in person. And I'm just really excited and it is called Turning Grief into Action. Turning Grief into Action. It's a panel discussion, and it's going to feature my sister Latoya Benton, who pretty much has been fighting for accountability, not just for our son Xavier Hill, but literally for impacted families, and all of us. So yeah, and then we have the founder. She's the founder. I'm sorry, she's the founder of her own podcast called Life After the Impact podcast. So, and it's Justice for Xavier Hill. We have our wonderful, amazing Tia Hamilton. She's the owner and operator of Urban Reef's bookstore, State versus Us magazine. We have also, like, this is a lot, and this is going to be, let me give you the date. It's going to be again next West Wednesday on May the 22nd at 7 to 9 p.m. It's going to be in Urban Reef's bookstore, 3008 Greenmount Avenue. That's 3008 Greenmount Avenue at 7 o'clock. And I'm going to also be as a big panel discussion, and it's called Turning Grief into Action. I'm going to be a part of the panel discussion as well. We have Kevin Ogun Beasley. He's going to be there. He's the co-founder of Baltimore Peace Movement, director of Beats Not Bullied. He's going to be there, and we have like many other like the people that like really making a change. So again, I'll be sharing the flyer with you guys. I'm so excited. So we're going to be in the streets. Well, not in the streets, but we're going to be, not online. So we're going to be in person. So if you want to join us, please come out and join us. It's going to be amazing. And I'm so excited to announce that Judah is going to be our mediator. He's going to be there, right there, asking us all the questions and just doing his thing. So I'm really excited. Like, he's going to be hosting us. So I'm just glad that he's going to be a big part of it. And a big, big shout out to my sister Dina. She's underrated. I'm just going to tell you that now, because she does so much amazing stuff that she could just keep on adding to her resume, because she's the actual one who put all this together. Like, when she starts thinking about stuff, she makes it happen. It'll start off as a little thought in the back of her head, and then she's like, well, we should do this. And then she start moving. And when I say she moves big time. Like, she don't just take no little baby step. Like, she hops out there, get the job done, and it's just amazing. So I'm just so happy and proud of the West Coalition, and I just love you guys. Like, I can't thank you enough for the overwhelming support that you guys always give me and my family. I totally appreciate you. Like, I totally appreciate you guys are my family. We're family. And just coming down, being there in the courtroom with me, taking notes, not just meeting me there, but beating me there, and just all that wonderful, amazing stuff. And that's what it's about: supporting each other, loving each other, because these are the times I couldn't imagine going through this heavy stuff that I'm carrying all by myself. Like, I couldn't imagine doing it, and I just give a big shout out to y'all, and I just wanted to say that I love you guys, and I'm giving y'all flowers right now, because life is just life right now. It's a whole lot of stuff that's going on, happening all at one time, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, wow, like, take the wheel, take the wheel, take the wheel. So, but again, I want to check in real quick, Kalia, to see if we have any questions or comments. Mic check.
Mic check. Can everyone hear me well?
Yep.
Okay, good. Just a few more comments. Adina commented mic check, and Judah commented a heart emoji and 3 clapping emojis to Adina. Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, so like I said, I'm real excited. Like, I'm still like baffled at how she put that together. I'm like, and I done been, trust me, I done been on so many panel discussions, and I know, oh yeah, and I can't believe I didn't even say my sister Erica, like Erica, the founder, you know, of Ceasefire, which is now the Peace Wizard. It's so many people that's going to be out. Like, I ain't going to give it to y'all at once. I'm just going to give it to y'all on that flyer. Y'all got to see the major flyer that Kalia did. That thing is popping, is banging. So I'm just excited about next week. I wish I could, and literally, like, because I got so many transitions happening in my life and how my mind thinking. It's not the West Coalition. This is just me. I'm just in my mind. By this time next week, when I'm on that panel discussion, I will have closure in one area, hopefully, with what's going on with my family in this court system. Well, to me, it'll never be closure, but I'm praying for accountability, something that can give some of my family members that, you know, they feel as though that's closure for them. I'm not speaking for my family when I say I will never have closure, because closure to me is bringing our loved ones back and we being there for them. Or closure to me is if nobody else family had to feel the pain and suffer the pain that we're going through. That's closure for me. And until that happens, it will never be closure for me. But for my family, if we get accountability, that would be so much of peace. But for me, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be, to me, I say endings on things and new beginnings on things. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, I don't know if my head's spinning. I feel like a bobblehead. My head is on a definite swivel, like it's swiveling back and forth, left to right, side to side. I'm like, just take the wheel, like take the whole entire wheel. And that's why I try to, you know, celebrate as much as I can and move, because if you get stuck, and that's one thing I always fear about me letting all of this stuff that I'm going through right now overtake me. And it can in 2 seconds, because I have not had an actual real minute to not have like stuff popping off, that I could just have a clear mind and without crying about something. Like, I have them happy moments, but it seemed like as soon as I'm embracing happy, here comes some foolishness, and I'm just like, just take the wheel, God. Like, just let everything just go smooth. Just let everything go. It's just like, wow. Like, it's just like, my mind is just like blown for all the things I'm enduring in like 2025. I never thought so much stuff would be popping off. Like, no one could have never predict the things that I'm seeing, the pain that I'm feeling. Nobody could have predicted all this stuff. So every chance and every moment I get to go and celebrate, or somebody show me the world, I'm going to embrace that. Like, and a big shout out to my daughter. She took me out on Mother's Day. Shout out to my kids. She started my Mother's Day by, I visited her mega church. She got a big old nice church. I went to her church. I felt like I was cheating on my bishop because I was in another church home, but I still embraced the word of God. But I started my day off like that and went to brunch with her. And then by the time I got home, my youngest two, I came home, they had gifts for me and all that stuff. And then I ended my night we had a wonderful time. He showed me mad love. It wasn't even just about the gift. It was just taking my mind off of that. So I am blessed. So I'm just glad that I had an amazing time. But I just been struggling. And it's like, with all this stuff that's going through, all the tears that I've been crying all this week, I'm tired. Like, as much as I cry tears, I want to see big harvests. Like, harvests of nothing but fruitfulness, blessings, all that. So yeah, that's why every moment and chance I get to celebrate and do something to take my mind off of this, what I'm actually going through, literally in my mind, I'm going to do it. Like, I already vowed. That's the thing. That's my peace and all this. I got to keep it moving, because if I step by and just like sit down for 2 seconds, I feel like everything is going to cave down on me, and I can't. Like, no. I cannot operate like that. It's way too much. So I just want everybody to just take care of themselves, like embrace love, and then my heart went out to like mothers that lost their children, because that, to me, well, I can speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for other mothers, but that's what makes me, so happy, because I'm blessed with my blessings, and that's my babies. And I don't care how grown they get or how old they get, they're going to always be my babies, So just having them here, and I couldn't imagine the parents that don't have their children anymore, or the children that don't have their parents anymore, because it's hard for me not having my parents, and it's just sad, but you just got to embrace the good. We can always find something sad to cry about, but don't let the tears outweigh the good stuff. Keep it moving, find something to make you happy. If it make you happy to eat something nice, whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat, I'm just encouraging you to do, because, you get one life here on earth that I know about, and I'm going to enjoy mine, and I want you guys to enjoy yours, and just take care of each other. Don't wait until tomorrow to tell somebody that you apologize for something. Don't wait till tomorrow to tell somebody, oh, I'm really feeling you, I love you, because guess what? Nothing is promised to us, but the way we treat people, that's a guarantee that we can be that difference maker by treating somebody nice and humbling ourselves. And I done been finding myself being in this humble position for a very long time. And that's the only thing to get me by, because if I act like the way people treated me, I would have did a lot of crazy stuff, y'all. I'm just trying to tell you, but because I'm humbled, I'm in this space of mind that, it is what it is. I'm going to do my part. And my part is I'm going to be just whoever God made me to be. And sometimes I feel, confused. I'm like, why I got to be so nice? Why I got to be the one that feel like, even when somebody being mean to me, I be kind of feeling sorry for them. This is weird, but I can't help who I am. But at the same time, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Don't think I'm no punk or nothing like that you can just run over top of me and treat me how you want to treat it, because I'm definitely going to stand up, confront you, and do what I got to do. So please don't take my weakness, my kindness for my weakness, because nah, it definitely ain't that. But I am real humbled. I am a loving person. I love loving, and, because this world, it got so much hate in it right now. It's so sad. But again, until we let that hatred overtake us, I believe, and it's me, it's not the West Coalition, this is Tawanda speaking for my own self, I believe that we can make the difference by just keep on loving each other. Love breaks down everything. I don't care. And me, working with children, and that's my passion. And literally from before the classroom, working in a respite care home where children were snatched from their parents from different heartbreaking circumstances and situations, and literally just going into them homes with love and not breaking and cracking and breaking through and making them babies change. That's why, because the babies is what rule the world, and they watching everything we doing. And remember, all eyes, even open eyes and closed eyes, ain't sleep eyes. So they watching us at all times. They watching how we respond, how we act, and they're going to do what they see us do. Believe me, they're going to do what they see us do. So if you can represent, and it don't have to be your kids, it can be somebody else's kids that can look up to you, that can idol you, because a child mind is very impressionable and things of that nature. So please be mindful of the babies. Be mindful of the babies. I love the babies. Be mindful of the babies. And show them love, teach them respect, and teach them to honor themselves. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. We can't force nobody to drink the water, but we could definitely walk them to the well and tell them how good the water tastes and let them see us drink the water, but we can't pour it down their throat and make them drink it, So with that, I want to check in real quick to see if we have any questions or comments. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. So far, the most recent one that we have is from Angela. She said, "I'm giving a big shout out to you, sis." Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. And I want to give a big shout out to my sister Angela, because let me tell you about her. Like, I didn't even know she had the surgery going on with her hand, because here it is. Whenever I ask my sister for a prayer, she's always praying for me, sending me prayers. We send each other stuff every morning. I had no, and I want to use this example about, you never know what somebody is going through. Just because they show you love or they there for you does not mean that they are not like in a depressed state or whatever kind of state. You just never know what somebody going through, because they humbling themselves and they showing you love. They could be feeling like unloved. They could be feeling like, oh, I'm never gonna make it out this situation. You never know. And I was so shocked, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is an old post. I seen a little hand. She done snuck to the doctor, had a little. So I had no idea, because every time me and her communicate, and we communicate every day. Every day. Every day we communicate. She's always happy. She's always positive. And I just love that. But I just wanted to use that as an example. Check on your peoples. Make sure they're okay. Like, don't just keep dumping on them, because I started feeling bad. I'm like, damn, I'm dumping all this stuff on my sister. And I had no idea how she was feeling or what she was doing. So for now on, that I gotta tighten up. So when I see stuff in moments like that, I remind myself, tighten up. And so now, for now on, while I'm, sharing what I'm going through, the first thing I'm going to start doing is, hey, how you doing? And make sure they okay. I'm gonna check in with them and see how they doing or whatever. But love you, sis. Love you, and I just love everybody. So I know that we do not, and I'm so happy that we don't have to read a bunch of sad names tonight, because you already know that when we read these names, they come from the police brutality list. It comes from a national list, and literally and each time, you notice in the past 2 weeks, we had over 30 names, like literally. So when it's like, to me, and it's my opinion, there's no fact to this, but this is my opinion, that I believe that when they start showing these high numbers, they take a little break, and then when they come back, it's still like, they're not taking a break and killing us. They're just taking a break and announcing and letting us know, putting us on point. But then when we hear about it, right, then you see all these numbers, and then it's just like, oh my goodness. So I'm definitely, not looking forward to reading or hearing about the names once we get some names. And then of course we're gonna have one added from our city here in Baltimore, and it's just sad. I'm just praying, like, and then we had last week, Uncle Bill shared with you the alarming number of victims that don't die. Literally, that's it. He was like, pretty much said, like, while we were doing the podcast last week, he's like, all these people are getting brutalized before we can even finish within an hour. And that was like, oh my goodness, like, that is horrible. That is disgusting. So, but I'm just glad tonight we don't have the names to read. And I do believe that we do have one on our sad list. So, before we go into that, and this will be the first time we ever wrap up West Wednesday real early, but I just want to, like I said, just remind everybody, check in on somebody. Make sure they're okay. And number one, make sure that you are okay. It's okay to not be okay. And when you're not okay, make sure that you get help, right? Make sure you seek medical, you see your doctor, your healthcare provider, like check in. And I'm just blessed that Hillary enlightened me about one of my family members that she was concerned about, physical health, that is going through so much of stress, all this on top of it. And when she was just like, hey, check in on that person. And when I checked in on them last night, they let me know that they were definitely truly going through a lot. And I'm just like, wow. Like, so check in on your folks, check in on yourself, and make sure that we take care of each other. Because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save us. As much as I want somebody to come down with a cape on and scoop us all up and take us to the safe place, we have to save ourselves. And the start is like doing things what we can do that's in our control, within our grasp of taking care of each other. And tonight, I'm thankful that Hillary actually said a way that we can all take care of each other, and at least try to get this petition started and signed. That way we can take all these signatures that I expect. And this is free. Like, this doesn't cost anything. Like, share the petition, sign it, because the plan is we want to take this to City Hall and say, hey, what are you going to do about this? This is what we need done. Because guess what? You never know when you will need that review board to review your loved one case. You never know that. You never know when the case or the time may be. Just because you're not going through something at this exact moment or second right now does not eliminate or make you, have to not experience that problem. So I'm praying that you never do, because I wouldn't wish this type of pain on anyone, right? But we want to make sure that there are things in place to kind of keep us safe, keep us production, and hold folks accountable. And we need to hold ourselves accountable. So with that being said, one last time, I want to check in to see if anybody else want to add something before we go to our sad list and wrap up for tonight. Mic check.
Mic check.
All right. So, Khalil, do we have any additional questions or comments?
Not at this point. Last one was Angela's.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, thank you so much. And just thank everybody. So, with that being said, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to try to just memorize it myself, because I'm just like, my brain is just frying and I'm just ready to unwind my mind with something relaxing tonight, and that's music. But anyway, with that being said, I just want to say, before I go into this, please take care of yourself. Whatever makes you happy, find a happy place and, put all you can, give it all you got to be happy. Because like I said, we can find a billion things to be sad about, but that's what's going to keep us down. But what's going to lift us up is that happiness. That happiness to me is the light. There's light in every situation. And when you can't find that light and you slip in complete darkness, that's to me is when it overtakes you. And please don't let no circumstance, no situation overtake you. Because I always tell my students that if you get a chance to hit that reset button, because when they go through their little situations in the classroom, I'm like, wait that reset button at it. And I said, wait that reset button at, and they'll pull it out. And I made up a thing, and we'll hold this little round, like we'll hold our hand like we're holding something round, and I'll say, push it, and we'll push it together. And my slogan and saying is, reset. You bet we're going to have a good day. And with that, it brings them back to that moment. You can do it. And I'm cheering you on. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm your biggest supporter. And that brings the best out of them. So with that being said, hit that reset button. I don't care what you're going through. Remember that reset button. Hit it, reset, and have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good evening. Have a good life. We can always reset it. You can do that. So with that being said, this is the moment that I don't like, because Brother Brian, he's going to come on with the community violence list. But we're going to take a minute after I say a few words, and we're going to go into it. All right. So it is the mission of the West Coalition to seek accountability, not just for my big brother Tyrone West, but for all the victims of police brutality and community violence. We read a sad list, unfortunately, on community violence as well as police brutality. But when we get the police brutality list, it's from a national list, and the community violence list is from a local list. But unfortunately, we have no details about any of the circumstances surrounding any of the people that we're reading about. All we know that this person is no longer here. And we're just coming from a loving and caring spot. And to me, and I always have said it, no one, and I'll stand by this, no one, even after the hellish nightmare that I went through, being in a courtroom, looking at a real animal I'll stand on 10 toes down and I'll say no one deserves to be brutally murdered. No one. That's my belief. That's not the West Coalition. That is Tawanda Jones speaking. But again, we only share these names just to show love and show respect. We believe in mediation because I believe that if you could sit down and discuss it, whether you agree to disagree, both parties get to walk away and see another day. And that's what we encourage. If you can't agree on situations, sit down with a mediator, right? At that moment, you can agree to disagree and y'all can walk away. Both parties will be safe. Nobody's being hurt. We believe in peace, y'all. We believe in love. We believe in respect. And even though we come from different backgrounds and different beliefs, like you have some folks that's on West Coalition that believe in God, some that don't. Some believe in just the universe or whatever the case may be. You know, some have communist backgrounds, and that is not the West Coalition, y'all. The West Coalition is strictly and only about police brutality and community violence victims, period. But again, we can agree to disagree, but we come from a loving stance. Every member of the West Coalition comes together with love and different backgrounds and different beliefs to fight this ugly, evil system. And we believe that we need to knock it down and build it back up. I believe that. But I don't think maybe everybody in the West Coalition, I ain't gonna speak for the whole group, I'm gonna speak for me. So I believe we need to knock it down, build it back up, but through love and respect and honor. So with that being said, you know, if you're in the praying, say a prayer. We're going to take 1 minute, guys, 1 minute to say a prayer or wishful thinking, nothing but positive vibes only. The time now, I believe, unless it changes in a second. The time now, okay, good. We're on right timing. The time now is 7:55. We're going to come back with Brother Brian at 7:56. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. The time now is exactly 7:56. Brother Brian, it's all you. Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you, Tawanda. I want to just say that we have one person who's been named as being killed by the police. Two that have not. We don't have names for, and we will, give their names when we get those names. But we also know that there's a fourth person who lost their lives, and that was the young man who was killed on York Road by the police. And the list we read comes from the Baltimore Sun, and that list will never include that young man's name because the Baltimore Sun does not treat those deaths as homicides. It just washes them out. It blanks those names out. Those names are never recorded in the Baltimore Sun. They become non-people. Freddie Gray was never listed as a homicide in the Baltimore Sun. And I also want to raise up, and I'm sure when eventually we will get the names of the police killed, we'll get this name. But there was a gentleman in Arbutus, a man named Avril Jones Sr., who was shot by the Baltimore County Police, and so he deserves our thoughts and our prayers, just as a fellow citizen of the Baltimore area who's died. And so I'm going to lead off with his name, and so, and you know, and just as always, I just pray that these people and their families and their friends and their neighbors, we just lift them all up in a shared common humanity, and dedicate ourselves to the work that's before us. So, Avril Jones.
Avril Jones.
Tiana Gray.
Tiana Gray.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Brian. And I want to give a big shout out to Hillary. Thank you again for putting together that very important petition. And thank you, the whole entire West Coalition just for everything. Remember, live to love, love to live. I love you all. Big shout out to Rachel, who takes her time every week and brings you guys, on here and put us together and take her time on. Nobody from the West Coalition is getting paid. We're not a business. We're not anything. We're just average citizens fighting for accountability. So unfortunately, we got to bring you in the way we got to leave out the way we brought you in. And that's by sharing that awful video of one of the first killers that murdered my brother, Tyrone West, and started the brutal attack on my brother. Live to love, love to live. And I will see you guys in person next West Wednesday. I can't wait. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No,
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's attorney see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commence the vicious activity that was thrust upon me.
And the officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.